Hello everyone. I am Dr. Saroj Kumar Datta from the Department of Management, Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies. Today we will continue discussing on the lecture series of Introduction to Strategic Management. Now, my today's subject will be business model. Closely related to the concept of strategy is the concept of a company's business model. Now, what is business model, how it is related to strategy, that we'll be talking now. Now, strategy gives us the competitive advantage, our leadership in the marketplace. But business model is very relevant because a company's business model describes how the company will generate revenue, how it will generate income, and also how it will manage cost, thus ensure profit. In other words, business model is a clear, concise way of picturing how a business operates. Now, business model deals actually with the revenue, cost, profit economics of its strategy. The actual and projected revenue streams generated by the company's product offerings and competitive approaches, the associated cost structure and profit margins, and the resulting earnings stream, return on investment, all these are determined by the business model. Now remember, a lot of times we develop an innovation. Now this innovation will have an economic value only when it is supported by a business model. Otherwise, innovation will remain innovation. It will not generate economic value. Now, a business model itself is an important determinant of the profit to be made from an innovation. A mediocre innovation with a great business model may be more profitable than a great innovation with a mediocre business model. Now, does it work? According to American researchers, some business models have performed better than others in a data set consisting of largest US firms, but they were unable to prove whether the existence of a business model matters or not. Is it necessary to have a business model? The need for a business model arises from two types of business needs. Number one, existing well-established companies, they have to find a new and innovative business model to compete against growing competition. Number two, to extract value, rather economic value from an innovation, entrepreneurs has to determine a new and an innovative business model to carve out their space in the marketplace. So, business model is closely related to innovation, as well as business model converts existing business into a new business. Given the complexities of product, market, environment in which the firm operates, very few individuals are fully aware of the total situation of the business in total entity. Now, a technical expert may know their domain. A business expert may know their domain. But business model serves to connect between the technical expert and the businessman so that the business grows, survives, as well as generate revenue and profit. Now, what are the components of a business model? Now, by studying several business models, we have found out the following major components of a business model. First, the value proposition. Now, this is very important. What is the value proposition we are giving to the target audience? That has to be defined in the business model. So, let us say the business model of Microsoft. What is the value proposition it is giving? It is giving a very user-friendly computer operating software. But what about Linux? Linux is giving a different value proposition. It is giving a free operating software. So these value propositions are different. Next is market segment. The segment or the market segment which the organization is going to serve are different and determined by the business model. For example, the Linux, their target audience are basically engineers, researchers, or big government bodies. But Microsoft, their target audience is common people, everybody. So you see, the target audience is different. Next is value chain structure. Now, the company has to decide this business model will be concentrating on which component of the value chain structure. Let's say the banking sector is bringing new business model based on the delivery channel. They are going for internet banking, mobile banking, not branch banking. Next is revenue generation and margins. Now this is very important. How the company will generate its revenue? Will it do by selling, leasing, subscription, or support service? Not only that, who will be paying? Let's say for Google, the common users don't pay. The Google is free for all of us. Then who pays? The advertisers, many others, they pay for the Google. But the most of the users, they get it free. That's the beauty of the business model of Google. Next is position in the value network. That means you have to identify the competitors and who are your complementary firms and any network which will affect your business. So you have to design your business model accordingly. Next is network partners. Who is your network partners? That's very important. Like, let's say, insurance, they are making their network partners bankers. That's a different network partner. Now, next is client relationship. What is the relationship that is established between the company and the clients? Then competitive strategy. What competitive advantage this model is giving you? Let's say, anytime, anywhere business model for the banking sector. What advantage it is giving you? It is giving you very strong competitive advantage over other bankers for a target audience, that is corporate executives. So let's see how two different business models differ with each other. Let's take the case of the Microsoft. How does Microsoft operates? Now it hires the best brain of the globe. They put them into R&D, developing new operating software, which is their proprietary item. Now they spend huge money to develop these softwares. So their fixed cost is very high. Then when it is developed, they put it in CDs, in millions of CDs. Now each CD costs very little to copy this software into this CD. Now they sell these CDs to the individual customers at a reasonably high price. So if we take the cost of the CD making and the cost of the software we are buying, the difference is very high. They are making profit. I mean, say, just for example, if the CD making cost is 100, they charge 3,000. You can imagine. So they are selling in millions. So they are generating huge profit to amortize their fixed cost for the development of the software. But then what else they are giving to the customer? They are giving free service to the customers. Their service is free. So that's the value they are giving to the customers. But look at Linux. It's a open-ended software. It's free for everybody. They don't charge you anything for the software. So you take it and use it. You can modify it. But then what happens? Since it is open-ended software, as you start working on it, it develops problem. So you need expert service. Then Linux charge you for their service engineer. So the software is free, but service is chargeable. Now who is benefited from Linux? Who is benefited from Microsoft? A big bank, they buys the Microsoft software. Huge numbers. So they buy at a mass rate and they get service done, because most of the people don't know anything about software. They only are users. Now what happens? Suppose it is a government R&D body, big R&D body. They are all engineers. They will use for Linux because they are engineers themselves. So they will modify the software. But when it will lead to complicacy, then they will call the engineer. So they have a less fixed cost. Now, what are the dimensions of strategic decisions? Strategic decisions are radically different from any other organizational decisions, such as operational, functional. Now, these are the main dimensions. Number one, strategic issues require top management decisions. Now, these strategic issues must be discussed and decided at the top management level. Secondly, strategic issues require large amounts of firm's resources. Now, to take a strategic decisions and to implement it, we have to allocate huge number of people, probably with new skill set. You have to invest a lot of money. You have to have a lot of different type of physical assets. Now, this is also the reason why strategic issues require top management decision, because it requires large amount of funds, resources. Third, strategic issues are often affecting the firm's long-term prosperity. Strategic decisions will not be showing any change in the company's prosperity in the short run, but in the long run. Let's take the case of TCS. If you see in 1970s when TCS came into existence, what was its revenue? Nothing. But look at it. In the long term, TCS is the main revenue earner for Tata Group. Strategic issues are future oriented, because we are talking in strategy, we are talking where we will like to be, what is our goal, how we will be in the long term, how the company will be. So these are all future oriented. Strategic issues are usually having multifunctional or multi-business consequences. When you are thinking strategic decisions, it is not only marketing or finance or operation, it's all together. You have to combine all of them, synergize all these functions to have a strategy. Not only that, it could be multi-business consequences. Suppose a company is to be a #1 organization in the world. So they have multiple business areas. So it has to involve all business areas, which we call strategic business units. So it has to think, correlate, coordinate with all strategic business units to determine its strategy. Next is strategic issues require firms' external environmental analysis. Now because we are talking about the future, we are talking about a change, we are talking about employing huge number of assets, resources. So we have to study the external environment properly to see where is the opportunity or where are going to be the opportunity, what are the threats, what are the future threats, who are our present competitors, who are going to be our future competitors, who are our present customers, who are going to be our future customers. So we have to have a detailed analysis and thinking on our external environment before deciding on a strategic issue. Now we'll be talking about the different levels which exist within our organizations. Now there are decision-making hierarchy of the firm. Typically they consist of 3 to 4 levels. One is corporate level, another is business level, another is functional level, and also we can call another called operating level. Now there are 2 types of firms. One is called single business firm. Let's say Maruti. Their business is on small passenger cars. But Tata Sons, this is a multiple business company. So for a multiple business organization, we have these 4 levels. That is corporate level, business level, functional level, and operating level. Now, for the big organizations like multi-business organization, corporate level, this consists of the Chief Executive Officer, CMD, other directors, board of directors, and the members of the corporate staff. That is the corporate level. So Tata Sons is the corporate level decision maker for the Tata Group. Now, what kind of, at this level, what is the role of this corporate level? They determine the vision of the corporate. They determine the mission, the goals, and how they will allocate the resources. They will determine what are the new business areas they will go to, which is the new country they will go to. Like that, that is determined in this corporate level. Now, what about the business level? Business level is the top leaders, consist of the top leaders of a particular business area. Let's say if we talk about Tata Sons. Tata still the CMD, the board of directors, and the director's office, business level of this corporate. Now here they are concerned again with the vision and goals and objectives of this particular business area. That is Tata Steel. They are not concerned with Tata Motors. But their vision, mission, everything is controlled and governed by the corporate body vision, mission, and objectives and goals. So this business level determines the goal of the particular business area. But for a single business company like Maruti, they have the business level and the corporate level are the same. But Maruti, of course, has made 2 different strategic business units. They have separated service from the product. But that is not that really different. Now comes the functional level. What are the functional level? It's business functions, marketing, finance, HR, operations. These are different functions, systems. So these are functions, and there is a functional level, either director marketing or general manager for marketing or VP marketing. So, and they determine what will be the strategy and what will be their action plan, how they will go on particular function. But here, this functional level has to coordinate with other functional level. They cannot operate independently. Whereas the business level could operate independently of other business areas. But functional level in a particular business area has to operate in coordination with the other functional areas. So they are generally controlled and coordinated by the corporate level. So they determine their individual strategy, individual action plan of this particular business function, that is marketing, HR, finance, systems, operations, like that. Now there is another level, that is the ground level, there is a field level, that is the operating level. There is no strategy, but there are decisions. These are tactical decisions. These are short-term decisions for day-to-day operations, but these are taken at the operating level. So field sales officer, operating officer at the production, they take decisions of their own. So these are different. So we see the 4 levels of decisions, from corporate level to the business level to the functional level to the operating level. Now what is the difference in the nature of the decisions? In general, the corporate level decisions are long term, futuristic, lot risk, lot gain, lot resource involved, whereas operating level decisions are short term, less risk, not much resource involved, whereas corporate level is going to create radical change in the business operation, whereas operating level decisions are not going to create radical change but incremental change. So we have called corporate strategy, business strategy, functional strategy, and operating strategy. Now crafting corporate strategy for a diversified company involves making the moves to establish positions in the different businesses and achieve diversification, initiating actions to boost the combined performance of the business house that has diversified into different areas, pursuing ways to capture valuable cross-business strategic fits and turn them into competitive advantage, establishing investment priorities, steering corporate resources into the most attractive business units, and above all, setting the corporate culture, corporate values. Now, the central thrust of business strategy is how to build and strengthen the company's long-term competitive position in the marketplace for that particular business area. Business strategy is concerned principally with forming response to the changes in the industry, that particular industry, economy at large, regulatory and political arena, and other relevant areas in that particular business area, crafting the competitive moves, market approaches that can lead to sustainable competitive advantage for that particular industry sector, building competitive, valuable competencies and capabilities, and uniting strategic initiative of the functional department and addressing any specific strategic issues. So business strategy is again responding changes and developing competitive advantage in that particular business area in the industrial sector which you are operating by coordinating different functional areas. The term functional strategy refers to the managerial game plan for a particular functional activity of the business process, a key department within a business. So marketing strategy, for example, let us take. Now, how it is different? Now, in the marketing, you are going to determine how you will market. Would you go for digital marketing or you go for door-to marketing? So this is different from the operational strategy. So this is your functional strategy which you have to take according to the marketing practices which is existing in other companies, not necessarily in your industry, maybe in other industry. And marketing functional strategy will also go into product development strategy. It will go into pricing strategy. A company needs a functional strategy for every major business function and organizational unit. Now, operating strategy. Operating strategy concerns the more specific and narrow operating situation. That is, you are at the manufacturing plant or you are in the marketplace, you are with the sales point. So here you are more concentrated with the plant operation. You are not concerned with the sales. You are taking decisions which are required so that your plant operate most effectively at low cost. You maintain quality of the product. You use best uses of the plant and machineries. You have a overall maintenance policy so that the plant shutdown is very minimum. Your rejections are minimum. These are different. These are operating level strategies. So you see, all the 4 levels of decision making at the corporate are all related. Well, thank you. We have completed our talk today. What we have discussed today, let me summarize. First, we have discussed what is a business model. Second, we have discussed what are the different dimensions of strategic decisions. And third, we have discussed what are the different levels of an organization and how decisions vary from level to level. Now, we close our talk today. We like to see you again in our next lecture. Thank you for attending our talk and best of luck.